All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we are taking a deep dive into AXA's 2023 annual report.
Lots to unpack there.
Yeah, there really is. So we will dive into the numbers and try to paint a picture of what kind of year this insurance giant had.
Sounds good.
And the first thing that jumped out to me was their revenue. It climbed 3% to $103 billion.
Yeah, 3% might not sound like a huge jump.
Right.
But in these uncertain times, it kind of makes you wonder what's driving that growth when so many other businesses are struggling.
Yeah, exactly. And then you look at their operating profit, and it tells a similar story, up 6% to $7.6 billion.
So they're not just bringing in the money, they are managing it well, too. Seems like efficiency is a real priority for them.
And then there's this number. This number really stands out to me. A solvency ratio of 227%.
Okay. For those of us who aren't fluent in insurance jargon,
Yes, please explain.
break that down for us a little.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Solvency II ratio, it's basically a measure of their financial health. Can they weather the storms?
Right.
Can they pay out their claims even if, let's say, there's a major natural disaster?
Right.
And that number, 227%, tells me they're in a very strong position.
So it's not like they're barely keeping their heads above water. They're doing like a swan dive off of a...
Exactly. Cannonball into the deep end.
Yes.
They're not afraid to take some risks, but in a calculated way.
And speaking of risks, AXA isn't content with just keeping pace. They've set a goal of exceeding nominal GDP growth.
So they're not just trying to keep up with the market. They want to outperform it.
Yeah.
Ambitious.
Yeah. What does that tell you about how they see the market and their own potential?
I think it shows a lot of confidence.
Definitely.
They're clearly seeing opportunity even in a challenging global economy.
Okay. So they want to grow, but where are they focusing their energy?
Well, one area that really jumped out at me was their emphasis on damage insurance, specifically for businesses.
Okay, damage insurance. It's not necessarily the most exciting corner of the insurance world. So why is that a priority for them?
Well, think about it. Businesses today are facing more risks than ever.
Cyber attacks, supply chain issues, climate change. It's a lot.
Exactly. And I think AXA is positioning itself to be that reliable partner, that steady hand to guide businesses through these really complex challenges.
So they're anticipating a growing need and getting ahead of it.
Precisely.
Smart.
Leveraging their global presence and their deep understanding of risk.
Now, this next part I found really intriguing.
Yeah.
The report mentions that AXA France is developing a health insurance offering specifically for international markets.
Interesting. So expanding beyond their traditional geographic focus.
Yeah, it feels like they are testing the waters a little bit.
Dipping their toes in a new pool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think is the strategy there? Could this be the start of a more global AXA?
It's certainly something to watch.
Yeah.
But, we've talked numbers, we've talked strategy.
Right.
But there's this whole other dimension here, right? Sustainability.
Yes.
Climate change. It's a huge issue for everyone, especially for a global insurance company.
Right.
So how are they approaching this whole sustainability thing?
Yeah. It's a big one. And I was actually really impressed by what I saw in the report. AXA isn't just talking about sustainability. They're really baking it into their operations.
Right. It's not just a PR move.
Exactly.
They're taking concrete steps.
Yeah, they are. They're reducing their own environmental footprint. They're investing in renewable energy, green tech.
Yeah.
But then I think one of their boldest moves, they're shifting their insurance portfolio away from high-carbon activities.
That's huge. Basically saying they're not going to insure new coal plants or oil and gas exploration.
Yeah, it's a strong stance to take.
It is. Sends a message to the market.
It does. And what's interesting is this isn't just about altruism, right?
Right.
This is about smart business. For example, they're partnering with the Terra Ocean Foundation to support research on ocean biodiversity.
Okay, interesting. How does that tie into insurance?
Well, for an insurer, understanding the impact of climate change on the oceans.
Ah, I see. It's about assessing risk.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
The critical business intelligence. And then beyond environmental sustainability, they're also talking about building a more resilient workforce. For example, they've implemented initiatives to support employees who were affected by the war in Ukraine. They're offering counseling, other services.
Wow. It's really interesting to see that level of commitment, but you have to wonder, are they really walking the walk, or is this all just clever marketing?
It's a fair question.
Yeah.
It's a fair question. And, looking at their track record, I'd say they're putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, they're definitely putting some skin in the game, and that's a good sign. But it's something we'll have to keep an eye on as things progress.
Absolutely. Actions speak louder than words. But for now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about AXA's internal workings. One thing that caught my eye was their focus on leadership diversity. They've been making a real push to increase representation, not just in terms of gender, but also in terms of geography and skill sets.
Right. So it's a pretty comprehensive approach. They're not just looking at one dimension of diversity. It's really about creating a more inclusive leadership team across the board. What's the thinking there?
Well, it seems like they understand that to navigate the complexities of today's global market, you need a leadership team with diverse perspectives and experiences.
Makes sense. It's like that saying, two heads are better than one.
Exactly. Especially when those heads come from different backgrounds and bring different ideas to the table.
Mm.
But diversity isn't just about numbers, is it? It's about fostering a culture where everyone feels included and respected and valued.
Yeah, it's about creating an environment where everyone feels comfortable bringing their whole selves to work. And that's where the real magic happens, right?
Absolutely. Now, looking ahead, what hints did we get about AXA's future direction?
Well, they were a bit tight-lipped about the specifics.
They like to keep us guessing.
Yeah, a little bit of mystery. But they did mention that a new strategic plan is in the works, so that's exciting. I think based on everything we've discussed today, though, we can safely assume that sustainability, technology, and a global outlook will continue to be major themes moving forward.
Absolutely. What challenges and opportunities do you think they'll face in the coming years?
Well, climate change is the big one. It's
Oh,
the elephant in the room. That's going to continue to be a major focus for them.
definitely. And not just for AXA, but for the entire insurance industry. It's going to be fascinating to see how they adapt their risk models and develop new products to meet the evolving needs of a changing climate.
Yeah, talk about a challenge and an opportunity, right? But it's not just about the planet, it's about people too. As technology advances, they're going to need to figure out how to strike that balance between human expertise and automation.
Right, because you can't automate everything, right?
Exactly. And then, of course, there's always the unpredictable nature of the global economy.
Geopolitics, pandemics, who knows what curveballs are coming next?
Exactly. So agility and adaptability will be key for them to navigate all of that.
Well, I think that's a great note to end on. Agility, adaptability, a willingness to embrace change. These are qualities that will serve any company well, not just in the insurance industry, but in any industry. So we've covered a lot of ground today. We dove deep into AXA's 2023 annual report, exploring their financial performance, their sustainability initiatives, their strategic priorities. And I think it's safe to say that AXA is not your average insurance company. They're thinking big, they're embracing change, and they're trying to make a positive impact on the world. And that's something worth paying attention to. If you're interested in learning more, and I encourage you to do so, you can find their full annual report on their website.
Definitely worth a read. It's a fascinating glimpse into the future of the industry.
It really is. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.